let's jump straight to it here. Joe, why do you think Albo is in trouble? Because Resolve poll, Essential poll, Newspoll all say more than half of the country is either dissatisfied, poor, very poor, all of that about his performance right now. Yeah. And the Redbridge poll that I just showed, that 57% of people can't name a single thing the government's done. Why is he in trouble? Because it's not like he's got a critical media on him.
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons. One is I think everyone's doing it tough, and when you're doing it tough, it's the government's fault, and that's that. And I think that's totally fair enough. I think the other thing is that the government has sought to... The Newspoll was particularly interesting because the parties were exactly 50-50 for the second month in a row on 2PP, but also Peter Dutton and Anthony Albanese's approval rating was exactly the same at -13. So Peter Dutton is preferred as doing a good job as opposition leader, Anthony Albanese doing a good job as Prime Minister. The public is equally dissatisfied, both of them. I mean, talk about your double haters.
And talk about clutching at straws to find a light there for Albo.
I think clearly the strategy is...
I held on to that straw for about 6 months in the last month. I'll give you the tip. It doesn't last.
But clearly Labor's strategy is, and it's not one I necessarily approve of, but clearly not that they're listening to me, but clearly Labor's strategy is we know that we're on the nose, but we're just going to make Peter Dutton even more on the nose. So we know that people aren't too fussed about us, but we're just going to make him look even worse. And to be honest, it seems to be working. It's very reductive, it's ugly, but it seems to be.
I'm not sure.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean,
it's not as bad as it could be.
But what is interesting though, Holly, when it's obvious why he's in trouble, because what he promised is not what's been delivered on multiplicity of fronts, and we talk about it in
cheaper
granular...
mortgages, better cost of living...
Greater transparency, no jobs for the boys, all like you take your pick, right? There's lots of little things. We've also seen parts of the left start to say, on a whole bunch of issues, I'm out, right? Now, obviously, that's part of the coalition for Labor. They'll go to the Greens, they hand their preferences back. But if enough of that happens in enough seats, we're talking about Greens MPs propping up a minority Labor Party as opposed to a couple of independents from, Rebecca Sharkey or Andrew Wilkie.
I don't think, to give Rebecca credit, I don't think she'd ever back a Labor government.
Well, no, but I'm just saying mathematically, right? So... why do you think... I mean, again, this idea that as long as we ooga booga Peter Dutton will be okay, if Peter Dutton is actually articulating the things that people are annoyed about the government, I'm not entirely sure that works. It's when you're a Bill Shorten and you're trying to overtly change the tax system, or you're running around like a T-Rex, where people will turn around and have their view of you.
Look, I find it really interesting that Labor always goes on this personal attack. And if you look back over Liberal leaders and very successful Liberal Prime Ministers, when was John Howard particularly popular? Pretty much not till he left. Tony Abbott, probably the greatest opposition leader this country's ever seen, won a huge majority when it came to the 2013 election. Australians actually don't necessarily want to elect someone they like or they want to go and have a beer with. They want to elect someone that they think is competent. They want to elect someone who they think will put national security first, who will be looking after their interests, will be making sure that the immigration levels are at a sustainable enough level that they can afford housing, their kids can get a job, that the economy is working. They don't necessarily elect someone who they want to go and have a beer with, particularly when things are going badly. And I think we can all agree things are going badly across the board in the economy particularly. Yeah, so I just think it's a stupid attack line, but it's one in Labor's DNA.